I woke up this morning and it was 34 degrees inside the house. I walked outside, got a little bit more firewood. It got up to about 36 degrees. It's been almost 48 hours since the power went out. And, I think that I was probably 80% prepared for this. So I don't know how other people are managing if they were not prepared. It's been a while since I recorded a video, but I thought that this would be a good opportunity to just kind of document all of the challenges that I'm facing. I'm going to put my glove on here. And I'm going to not talk for a second to see if the loud generator noise from next door oh my god, so annoying. So, I moved out to the rural area to enjoy the natural world, nature sounds, even this ice storm. And so many other people are starting to think that they want this experience too, but they haven't given up their lifestyle. So over in that direction, because it's not a lot of density with other buildings, other houses, other cars, streets, whatever, the sound travels really quickly. Because I've lived in this area for more than 5 years now, my senses have become more in tune to this natural world, and I can actually even smell the off-gassing from their generator. It's probably 400 feet away. It's the only sound around, and it's like drowning out all of the beautiful nature, the birds that are around, and even when I'm walking and stepping on the icy snow and it's crunching, there's this din and hum of modern society. It sounds like I'm just sitting next to an airport or something. There's no way to solve that because it's a societal thing. People are using, I guess, a gas powered generator for their RV. They're living out of an RV and plopped a shed and put up a utility pole. They don't even have, they're not on a well or anything like I am. So let me just kind of walk through some of the damages while I'm on my way to give the donkeys some more water and hay. But you can see, it's really beautiful. Yesterday I was walking around and taking some pictures of just how beautiful this is. Luckily I haven't had any tree limbs fall directly on the house. I had one that hit the corner and showed me that my gutters are full, which I knew, but there's rotting wood behind it. So that's kind of cool. I have to fix the chicken coop when things thaw out, and the chickens are underneath a deck, and I put an old box spring, ripped all the fabric off of it. It's just it's probably cold for the metal. I'm gonna put wood on top of it, but anyway, they have a little play area there that they sit and hang out in addition to their little coop that they sleep in at night. But yeah, I can't do anything until it's warmer. So I'm just going to turn the camera around here and go for a little walk. It's kind of fun to listen to those sounds. And yeah, I've got some work to do fixing the fence. Basically, I'm trapped here without, I can't move the car until there's no ice and I clean up all this stuff. Luckily, it's not that, there's not a huge tree in the way. So that's what this is right here from, I think it was 2022 maybe. So 4 years ago, we had a really bad ice storm, and this tree collapsed here, and it was over the driveway, and I had to get someone to help me cut it up, but I haven't been able to touch it since because it's all heavy. So that's been sitting there for a few years. But you can see, like how beautiful this is. And what the challenge was is that it actually like rained like crazy, and then the temperature dropped. And Sunday, so like 2 days ago in the morning, like all you could hear was just like really crazy, like popping, cracking. And I was feeding the donkeys, and I literally could smell away from that generator, annoying because the power hadn't gone out yet, could smell the like fresh pine, which was really wild. That just shows you like how clear and crisp this natural world is. And these new people, they have like 10, literally like 10 trucks, like big gas guzzler trucks and work trucks, and they have like drag racing cars, and they're like, I don't think that they're just so ingrained in this like fossil fuel mechanical gas guzzling 1970s way of life, or 1950s like greasers world of life, which is, to me, is so contradictory to why people are living where I live in this natural area. It's not like I live next to homesteaders who have a garden and they're gonna grow their own food. It's not that at all. There's like 10 people over there. Every once in a while they're just like shooting off guns for fun. So that's something that I just did not expect in my wildest imagination, that this farmland would have been sold. And it's not even, they don't even own it. They're renting it from the person who bought it. So anyway, here's my driveway. And I have these beautiful trees that are really great for like visual privacy, and they're doing okay. It's warming up. Only a few of them have snapped, so they're pretty resilient. But you can see that I'm not driving in or out until it warms up a little bit. So I'm actually on my way to check on the donkeys, but before I do that, it's going to get really sunny. I'm going to talk about how I prepared for this. So I knew that this storm was coming, and there's a few YouTubers that are weather people, so I'm always, I literally am looking at weather app multiple times a day just because of how much I need to deal with here with animals. And I have done a couple of videos about dealing with frozen pipes. So what I ended up doing was I actually store buckets and buckets of water all year round. I'm using like old like milk, white plastic milk, almond milk jugs for water. I'm using, other things that maybe not food safe, but whatever. It's just for drinking and putting in the toilet and washing dishes and that kind of stuff. But anyway, I store lots of buckets of water, and the 2 days before I knew the storm was coming, I relocated most of those buckets to the main house that is where I have the rental and retreat space. That house has a propane, and it has a wall propane heater. So the plan was to keep all the water up in there for the animals, and keep the wall propane heater on low, just because it uses a lot of propane to run. So I checked the main propane. It's 50%. So it's 250 gallon tank. You're not allowed to put more than 80% in it. So 50%, hopefully it won't go down below 25% this week of just being on low. But what that's done is that's helped keep the inside. The other thing that I had told you all about before was I did a video about the heat tape underneath the house. Well, that only works if there's electricity. So I've been doing a little bit of research on, backup solar power generators. I actually ordered a few weeks ago, as I was preparing for winter, some of the battery backup power systems, and when I plugged that outlet in just for those heater tape pipes, it needed like 1,000 watts. So I ended up having to get a bigger system and tested it out, and it only lasted a few hours. I actually used a second system that's a 1,500 watt thing, and I used it to heat up some food on a hot plate, and that used 50% of the charge. So that is not a good long-term solution for like multiple days without power. It's only good for, little itty bitty things. I did use it to run like the internet for a little bit until the internet went out, and now I don't have internet power or cell service. So those are some of the things that, are challenges. A lot of people, if they're living in the city, I heard that there's 200,000 people in Nashville without power when this originally happened. They probably still have cell phone service so they can, the kids can watch TV or something like that. Okay, so what I ended up doing was taking a bunch of water. I turned off my well on Friday. I took a shower, washed my hair, knowing that it could be a week before I would be able to do that again, looking at the temperatures, because you can't check the pipes and figure out if anything froze until it's over 30 degrees, and then it's actually going to get cold again. So if there is anything broken, I can't fix it until it gets warm. So it could be like 2 weeks. I basically turned the well off and then ran all of the pipes dry in that house. And then I covered all of the toilets with blankets and covered the pipes and like opened the cabinet doors for all of the sinks and stuff like that. Because in the past, a few years ago, I had a hole in the roof and the entire house froze inside and below. The third thing I did up there was, while I was fixing those pipes over the last couple of years, I could tell that the front of the house, where there's a porch, doesn't actually have a foundation wall. So I covered the entire porch. It was about 26 feet plastic, and then I put carpet and cardboard. I bought some like carpet rugs on top of that just to try and keep the cold air from blowing underneath. So crossing my fingers that works. Now the other building that I use primarily for the residency, same thing. I had heat lamps under there, but I had turned the water off there because there was a leak from the last like cold temps that we had a few weeks ago, and I fixed it. But when you're cutting the PEX and you're putting the shark fitting in, sometimes it's not exactly straight, so it like leaks a little bit. So I had turned that water off at their main switch to fix that, and hadn't been able to fix it before this happened. So when we had a deep freeze, 0 degrees for 3 days over Christmas I can't remember, like 3 years ago now, when like everything froze, the shut-off valve for that house is what froze. So I've been working on making the hole underneath that house kind of airtight. So what I was doing on Friday is I was going around all of the houses and like covering up and like spray foaming and just like double checking everything. And what I found in the house where I live that was 34 degrees this morning is that there's all these like vents in the kind of surround. So the house is like elevated about 4 feet on one side and a little bit more on the other because it's a hill. My fingers are getting really cold right now. And I have this Smart Shield foam insulation stuff that I picked up, and I kind of was just like running around the house, and it took hours. It took hours on Friday. Yeah. So anyway, that is kind of what's going on. And what I'm doing now is I'm gonna go feed my donkeys their second morning. I'm just kind of giving them more hay because it's super cold out. And I'm gonna take a walk. It's like a mile and a half, I think, up to a higher elevation where I think that there's cell service. See if I can make a call and just kind of register. Because not only do I not have internet in general, but one of the tree limbs just went shoop and plopped onto my cable internet to my house. So I have two internet services. One of them is still connected but not working. So it must mean that internet is out somewhere on the line. But it's really beautiful. If it wasn't for that generator noise, it would be extremely peaceful and just serene right now. All right, I might do another update. If you haven't subscribed, I'm going to try and start recording and posting more often again.